Okay, this is part 2 of our 2-part series about installation and configuration. So let's go ahead and get started. Miscellaneous tab has a number of settings. You can go through each one and just most of them are pretty self-explanatory. Warn on sequential checks. For example, if John Doe comes in with check number 100, then the next day he comes in with check number 101, and then the next day he comes in with check number 102, you can set this to have TeraCash warn you that, hey, after so many checks, we want to be warned that this guy seems to be coming in with perhaps stolen checks, perhaps just something might be a little bit off. Same with unwarned duplicate checks, except obviously it's for duplicate checks. If he comes in one day with check number 100 and then comes in a day later with check number 100 again, okay, there's something strange about that. I mean, and it's talking about check numbers from the same company, from the same maker. Same account number, same routing number. So if he comes in with a check number 100 from McDonald's and then the next day check number 100 from Burger King, they're obviously different checks, so it's not going to warn you there. $0 fees. If you have a situation where you don't have a fee table set up, say you've got a fee table set up for everything between $0 and $1,000, and somebody comes in with a $1,500 check, you don't have a fee table set up for that, this is going to tell you, or do you want the system to allow that, or do you want it to force you to go in and set up a fee table for that check amount? Now this is only cash a maximum amount of so many dollars per customer per day. So if Joe comes in, he's got a max set. This is a global setting, by the way. This is for everybody. So whether it's Joe, Tom, Mary, whoever, if they come in and you set this to say $1,000, if he comes in with one check that's $1,200, the system's not going to let you run it. If he comes in with one check that's $500 and then comes in later that day with a $600 check, the system's not going to let you cash the $600 check because that's going to exceed the $1,000 amount. Of course, this is configurable. You can set that to whatever amount you want, or you can disable it. TeraCash also does allow you to set a maximum amount of a check per individual per day. So if you just wanted Joe to have this restriction, then you can do that. That won't be covered in this tutorial, but that would be from the Manage Customer screen. Now, the transactions auto clearing, that just means that after a certain number of days, if you haven't flagged them as bad, meaning they haven't come back, then TeraCash will automatically move their status from pending to cleared. If you set it for 0, then it's never going to clear. All checks are always going to be flagged as pending. If you want to set it for 7 days or 5 days or whatever, then TeraCash will automatically move them to the cleared status after that number of days. Otherwise, you can always go in and manually right-click on the check and clear that through the Manage history. Now, the reset transactions after deposit slip, if you use deposit slips to balance with how many checks you're taking to the bank, and you print the deposit slip, you can reset the transaction status after you print the deposit slip. So when you go to print the next, say you're doing 2 or 3 bank drops a day, you obviously don't want the first batch to print out on the deposit slip for the second batch. So you can set this to reset the flag when you print the first batch of deposit slips. That way when you say you print your first batch at noon and then you go and do another batch at 4 p.m., the ones that you've already deposited between opening and noon aren't going to show up on that deposit slip. Only the ones from noon to 4 o'clock is going to show up. So you can optionally set that to automatically reset the flag. This is going to be a maximum of 100 is default for your search results. If you're ever doing a search for customers or checks and companies, makers, anything like that, in the search results, this is going to be the number of total entries that it's going to show you. Let's say you do a search for every customer that starts with the letter A. say you got 500 customers that all their first name starts with an A, and that's the search you did. Well, it's only going to show you the first 100 of them. So you can either narrow your search by saying, okay, well, maybe the name starts with A-R-E-N, and that's going to give you fewer search results, or you can come in, you can change this and make as many or as little as you want. This is for the tab paging, which is going to be this section over here. When you get a result, this comes up with a bunch of customers' names when you start typing in somebody's name. And then you've got your paging back and forth. This will show you by default 100 names on this list per page. 101st name you'll see when you click the right arrow over here.